This is The Confidence Show with Mr. Locario and Miles Cunningham. In The Confidence Show, we're talking about confidence, happiness, success, purpose, and achieving your goals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And remember, the truth is inside you.
Yeah. What up? What's good? What's good?
Yo.
You have tuned into The Confidence Show with Miss Locario, Miles Cunningham. Miles, what's going on, man? What's good?
Chilling, man. You know, just out here being confident, doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm God to these hoes and so on and so forth. You feel me? What's going on with you, Locario?
Facts, man. Just out here trying to get these guys to understand what confidence is and how you guys can make it happen, man. I keep seeing so many people, just still not understanding this. I'm like, why? Why can't guys and why can't women and why can't people just understand this whole confidence shit, man? How come? Why? What is it going to take? You understand? Like, it's crazy. But today we're going to be talking about how it takes confidence to be yourself. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
It takes confidence to be yourself. See, this is why we got so many fake motherfuckers out here. You feel me? Because if it takes confidence to be yourself, then that explains why, you know what I'm saying? There's so many people out here that's scared to be who the fuck they are. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to April MC in the building, Rohan J, G Dog, Rari, Kami, what up? And remember, guys, you can get all the Confidence Show shows on patreon.com/The Confidence Show. Remember, we're just gonna film it here on YouTube to get it filmed, and then it's gonna go straight to Patreon right after. You feel what I'm saying? Right. So this shit cracking. What up, Antoine Jackson? What's going on? ZSH, what's good? But yeah, let's talk about this whole thing of it takes confidence to be yourself, right? See, this is how I look at it, man. If you're actually like confident, right? What it means is this, is that you're fully okay with who the hell you are because you're not worried about validation from anybody else. You're not worried about what everybody else is thinking. You're not worried about what everybody else is saying. So in order for you to, actually like be yourself fully, it has to be a confidence thing in the situation. Like, it's impossible to fully really be yourself and not be confident. You understand what I'm saying? Because being yourself means loving yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You're actually loving yourself by being yourself and being who you really are and saying the things you want to say, doing the things you want to do, expressing yourself how you want to express yourself, right? And that takes confidence because what's going to happen is that when you're being yourself, right, you're going to realize that there's going to be a lot of pushback because you're in a world where most people aren't being themselves. You understand? And there's a fear that people have of being themselves. So every time they see you being yourself, it's like they'll probably want to shut you down or, discredit you or say something crazy because what it is that you're a reminder of what they fear. Like you ever be in a situation where somebody say some real shit and they're just really being honest about something and, like people sort of like cringe or get nervous. Like remember when Kanye West, when he was like, George Bush don't care about black people?
Right.
And he saw Michael Myers is standing next to the nigga and he was like, oh my God, like, what?
And he started stuttering and she was like,
I'm just like, yo, it's like, and look, that was Kanye just being himself. He just like saying what's on his mind, saying how he feel.
Right.
And so that makes people nervous because we're in a society, in a world where it's almost like you're encouraged to not be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're encouraged to be fake. It's a thing where they make it to where they scare you into being a fake motherfucker and not being real and not being yourself.
Facts.
Because every time when you see someone being themselves, a lot of times it's very raw. It's very real. And sometimes that raw realness isn't pleasant. It isn't pretty. It's not, it's not like, Disney and rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is people try to suppress that. And so the more and more that, and this is on a subconscious level too, is that the more and more you see people who are being themselves and being real, the more and more you see them getting sort of like shitted on, or people trying to suppress it, or people trying to push it to the side. They trying to, hide those type of people. The more and more you're like, well, I guess I shouldn't be like that. I guess I, shouldn't be honest. I shouldn't make that happen, because I see a lot of negative energy, or I see a lot of, not so good things coming to people like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I see the people who are, kind of kissing ass, sucking butt, being fake, like really getting a lot of praise, a lot of accolades. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of pats on the back. You understand what I'm saying? So you're like, I guess I should be more that. I guess I shouldn't be myself, because no one's going to like me for that. And it's like, people want to be liked. People want to be, included. You understand? And so they're like, well, let me just like be on this fake shit so that I can blend in with everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? Because think about it this way. We're social creatures, but see, the more confident you are, the more you realize that you don't need people. You understand? It's a good thing where you're interacting and you're doing all of that, but you'll still be happy without it. But you don't, when you're aware, you don't need the people, but you still do. As people, you like to interact because it's natural to interact. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is that if you're interacting with people and you feel as if you can be yourself, right? A lot of times you end up not being happy anyway, because you're not being yourself interacting with the people. You're not being yourself in these situations. This is why you have a lot of times you see celebrities, come out and say, oh, I was depressed, or they tried to kill themselves, or you understand, because they're surrounded by fakeness. They're surrounded by bullshit. They're surrounded by situations where they have to put on a show, where they can't actually say what they want to say, because, if I say this, I might lose that book deal, or I might lose this movie role, or whatever. So they're constantly in a situation where they can't be who they are. You understand? And then that causes a lot of anxiety, depression, anger, frustration. You understand? But Miles, what's your thoughts on that shit, man?
Well, it's a serious topic, man, because it's interesting how the one thing that actually makes us special is the one thing that's so scary about existence.
Right. Exactly. Fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like once we realize the truth that we are unlike everybody else on the planet, and you realize that you're, whether you like it or not, or whether you get it or not, you're actually alone, right? Because there's something, yes, we're all humans. We all, pump blood. We all have that same human condition. But within that, each one of us is an individual. You understand? Each one of us has our own path to forge. Each one of us has our own life to live. So therefore, in a sort of way, we are alone. You understand? It's up to you if you want to feel lonely, because that's another conversation. But you are alone, meaning that you are unique. You are one. You are one thing. You are one person. You're one entity, and you have to live this life by yourself. Even when you're with someone, you still have to live this life by yourself. Like, for example, if I get hit by a car, you don't share that pain with me.
Right.
If I get hit by a fucking car, I'm going to feel the pain of getting hit by a goddamn car all by myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's, and that's, I feel like that is a part of, why a lot of times people are afraid, people are, they feel a certain way about shit where it's like, man, I'm alone. It's really just me. And then when they have to come to that reality, it's like, oh my God. And then, a lot of times it's like you want to be a part of the popular position on things. Why? Because you want other people's decision to validate your own decision. You understand? Because that's the easier path. Like, you want to be agreeable. You want to be nice. You want people to like you. You want validation. You want, an easy existence where it's like nobody has an issue with you, and you don't have any issues with anyone else.
Right.
You understand? But it doesn't always go that way.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't always go that way. You're going to disagree with people. You know, some people are only going to be in your life for a certain amount of time. And then one day they're going to just like not be there anymore. And you have to deal with that.
Right.
You understand? You have to deal with that pain. You have to, you know, other people are going to die at a certain time. Maybe you get to live a long, you know, maybe you get to live a long life. Right. And other people on the outside looking in might figure, oh, that's dope. You get to live long. But think about a person who, for example, lives till 110. They literally had to see all of their friends die before them.
Right, exactly.
And they have to deal with that pain, with that grief, with that, you know, with those issues. You understand? Like there's a lot that comes with this whole life thing.
Right.
You know, and then on top of that, we're all gonna die. You understand? Hey, it's funny. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, are people afraid of dying? Or they, because they don't know how they're gonna die, they're afraid of the possible pain that comes with dying.
Right.
I'm saying, like, what are you really afraid of? Because when you die, on the instant that you die, you don't feel anything. You're not responsible for anything anymore. Like, you're done. So what are you actually afraid of?
Right.
Are you afraid of if there's going to be suffering? You're afraid if there's going to be pain with it. You understand? You're afraid of the extenuating circumstances surrounding your death. But are you afraid of actually dying? I don't know if that's what you're actually afraid of. You see what I'm saying? But see, again, everything that you're going to experience as far as death, everything that you're going to experience as far as life, only you go through it. No, because no matter how much you love the other person and no matter how much you empathize and all that, it's still not you.
Right.
It's still not you. It's the other person, or it's you and it's just you, not the other person. You can't, like I said, you can't share your pain with somebody else. You can't necessarily share your suffering with somebody else. If you're feeling pain, if you got arthritis in your hands, it's like, nigga, you got arthritis, not me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people look at you and be like, shit, it's better you than me, nigga.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when you really look at that fact, it's like, damn, like, it's really just me. Like, this is just my life. And that can be scary, man. It really can be scary. Because I said this on the other show, too. I was like, a lot of time, you know, because we talk about the truth is inside you. A lot of times, the truth of your existence is very scary. You understand what I'm saying? The truth of your existence is very scary. Like, for example, there might be somebody out there who they really want to travel the world, right?
Right.
But let's just say you grew up in your neighborhood and all your friends live in your neighborhood, but there's something in you. There's a passion in you to see the world.
Right.
You got 6 friends around the neighborhood and all of them is you and 5 other people. So it's the 6 of y'all.
Right.
All the rest of them niggas is cool with staying in the neighborhood, never really going anywhere. They cool with staying in their city, and that's that. But you're like, man, I really want to see the rest of the world. I'm gonna join the army or something.
Right.
Like, you're gonna have to leave your 5 friends, and you're probably not gonna see them for a long, long time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on where they deploy you and all that type of shit. And for a lot of people, that can be very like traumatic because they're like, yo, check this. I've been with these 5 people for my whole life. But now because of my truth, I have to separate from them.
Right.
Like our paths, all of our paths have been going in the same direction all this time. And now I developed this passion for seeing the world and traveling and all these ambitions that I have. And now, boom, here I go. I'm going this way, and my friends are still going that way.
Right.
You understand that? Like, for a lot of people, that could be terrifying. You understand? Because they've experienced all these things thus far in life with these people that they call their friends. But now all of a sudden they're about to embark on something that's totally different and new. And not only is it different and new, but they're actually experiencing it by themselves. So they can't laugh and joke and talk and, you know, because a lot of that shit, let's be honest, a lot of that stuff that you do when you're with your friends, all the laughing, joking and talking and inside jokes and all of this and all of that, all it really is a coping mechanism for new experiences in life.
Right.
You understand? And it goes down a little bit easier when you have someone who's on your same wavelength for you to execute those coping mechanisms with. You understand? Because it's, you know, like, for example, if you want to look at the whole pandemic, you know, if you're still around people that you're familiar with, everything is all good.
Right.
But let's just say you was in a foreign country when the pandemic hit, trying to make your way back home, and they shut down the airports and you had to sit in that foreign country for so long. You don't know the language. You don't have any friends. You don't know anybody. You understand what I'm saying? those type of things are terrifying. You understand? So it's like it takes a heavy amount of confidence to really be who you are. You understand? Because when you really realize that you're the one that lives your life, it can be very terrifying. But then on the flip side, if you have, if you've been listening to the Confident Show, if you mess with guys like us, if you understand the truth of certain things and you understand the importance of developing confidence, what happens is that you look at the same thing that I was telling you that can be very terrifying. You look at it as something that's very exciting.
Right.
You understand? Because there's a bunch of different ways to look at things, but you look at things as very exciting, and you're because you understand and you trust in who you are, and you've already did the work where you've come to the point where you have already validated who you are based on your passions, based on the things that are true inside you, inside your heart, inside your brain, and you can move forward. Then that's when you can start to look at it in an opposite way, where you can say, yo, this is exciting. This is the path that I have chose based on who I am. And I'm excited to see where it ends up.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it takes a level of confidence to be able to do that, because there's so much unknown. And then on top of that, you don't have anybody else to like I said, go through the coping mechanisms with. Right. You understand? That because you that's why you have friends in school, right? Because you're learning all these new strange ideas from these teachers, but you have your classmates to go through it with.
Right.
You understand? It's the same exact reason why after you take the test, the first thing you do is you go to your best friend in the class and be like, yo, what'd you get on the test? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got number 1 wrong too? Yeah, me too. Because all of that's coping. That's coping mechanisms, right? Because you're experiencing brand new things, but you have somebody to bounce shit off with. But when you get on later in life and you start to get into who you are and you realize, yo, like for example, this dude Lucario right here, he don't never want to leave New York.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He don't never want to leave New York. So I would for example, our friendship had to get used to a certain level of distance. You feel me? And so we don't have the same type of coping mechanisms that we had before, where we used to actually see each other in person and use those coping mechanisms that we had in person to interact with each other. We don't have that no more, right? Necessarily. I still see him from time to time face to face, but more often than not, I see him like this, or we talk over the phone, or it's just distance in general. You see what I'm saying? But the fact is, like, neither of us are scared to actually, go and do what we got to do in our own lives for ourselves.
Right.
You understand? Even though we're business partners, even though we're friends, at the same time, we still have our life to lead. You understand? And we realize these facts. So we move forward accordingly. And we have enough confidence to do that, to move forward accordingly, even though it might be on a slightly different path than our friend or whatever it is. You understand? Because your friends are friends and your family's family, and that's all good. But you're the one that has to live your life. You're the one that has to go after your dreams and move forward with your passions. And it can be scary, but it can also be the greatest, it's probably the greatest part of your life. You understand? It's the greatest, opportunity, right? For you to actually continue on a certain path. Here's the funny part about, being yourself and everything. You are who you are right now. And then you're going to come to a crossroads where you have to make a choice. So you're going to have to either go left or right. And then the crazy part about it is that the decision that you make is going to add another wrinkle to your identity.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because so boom, for example, you make it to a crossroad and then you say, all right, I'm going to go left. Now your identity has added that decision to who you are and everything that came with going left.
Right.
Until you get to another crossroads where you make a choice and you say, all right, this time I'm gonna go right. So now your identity is based on the person who went left before, and now they're going right. And then you're going to experience more and more stuff that are going to add to the person that you are. You understand? So it really takes heavy confidence to be yourself, because every next step is going to add to the person that you are. You understand? So therefore, so it's like, you know who you are right now, but based on the decision that you're about to make could affect and change the person you are.
Right.
And you really don't know what that is, what that's going to necessarily look like.
Right.
You understand? Maybe you have an idea, maybe you're making plans toward it, but you don't necessarily have the perfect idea of what it looks like. Why? Because it hasn't necessarily happened yet. So that in itself can be terrifying to some people. You understand? Like because for example, you have some of them people who like they have mental disorders where they can't leave the house. You understand? Their brain is literally stuck in a certain state where they don't want to leave the house because they're deathly afraid to go outside. I forgot the name of the phobia. It's some type of phobia.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Fuck. Yeah, I can
Fear
comment.
of going outside.
What is it? What is it called?
It's called agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia. There we go.
Yeah, so it's called agoraphobia. Is an anxiety disorder characterized by symptoms of anxiety in situations where a person perceives their environment to be unsafe with no easy way to escape. These situations include open spaces, public transit, shopping centers, or simply being outside their home. You see what I'm saying? Now that's an extreme case of what I'm talking about, but this is so a person who's just a regular person who's not dealing with agoraphobia, they still have to have a certain level of confidence. Understand? Because a lot of times the unknown can be very terrifying.
Right.
And so like I said, the unknown coupled with the person that you are who's putting you on that path at the same time, because here's the thing, you are experiencing it and you're becoming it as it happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you literally like, it's almost like you don't have any real control over it.
Right.
You understand? So it's like you have to have a certain, and that's where confidence comes in. Confidence is about having a certain level of faith that anything coming towards you in life will be something that you can deal with and handle. And because of your own mentality, because of your own mind state and your intelligence and your creativity, you will use those experiences to help you become better for it and not worse.
Right.
You understand? But you have to have the confidence to say that, you know what, that's going to be my direction for me to go through these experiences and become better for it and not worse. Because you have some people, the reason why they're afraid is because they let negative thought come into their brain and they're like, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen and it's going to be horrible. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be scary. It's going to be the worst thing. You understand? But it's like, no, like I have to choose. That's why confidence is so important, because you literally have to choose and say to yourself, look, I'm going to be going through these new experiences and I'm going to make a choice.
Right.
I'm going to find the better things in these experiences that are going to make me better. You understand? I'm going to consciously choose to allow these experiences to make me better.
Right.
Even if they might be difficult, even if they might, be, something new and overwhelming that I've never experienced before, I'm going to have faith in who I am. Faith in who I am, i.e. confidence. Faith in who I am equals confidence in order to move forward, in order to be willing to make the decision to go right or left and be willing to deal with the results of that decision.
Right.
And however it affects the person that I become as I move forward within that experience. You see what I'm saying? So it's not, I mean, we sit here, we talk about it and, it seems easy, but it's not that way for everybody. You understand? And that's why we even do this show.
Right.
Because sometimes even, you're going through life and you consider yourself to be a confident person. But if you take a moment to actually think about something like break down what I'm saying, like how I'm saying it with the whole making a decision and how each decision affects the person that you are and moving forward through time and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yo, this life is crazy though. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The shit that goes down with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot of growth. It's a lot of reflection. It's a lot of awareness. And see, and this is the thing I think people got to understand is that when we talk about, it takes confidence to be yourself, understand that there's a core of who you are. And then there's also the who you are that is it's like there's a core thing that doesn't change, and then there's something that's always changing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're both those things at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? And so the thing is, when we talk about the confidence to be yourself, it's like at any moment, are you confident to be about that moment? You understand? Are you confident to be who you are in that moment at all times?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because today you might feel this way or be about this. The next day you might be on some other shit. But are you confident enough to be about that? You know what I'm saying? Are you confident enough to say, hey, I used to feel this way and now I feel that way? Because sometimes people they're so stuck to their ideas and they're not confident enough to say, yeah, I was on some bullshit before, or yeah, I wasn't really thinking that. Now I'm thinking this, because people they're so caught up with their image that they feel like their image has to be this way, period. You feel what I'm saying? And so the thing is, you could just be on a whole nother fucking thing right now. And then next year you might be on a whole nother thing. And then the year after that, you might be back to the thing you thought you wasn't about anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it all depends on you being honest about where you're at now and having the confidence to just adhere to that. The confidence to stand in that and stand on that and be like, yo, this is what I'm actually about, and this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I represent at this moment.
Right.
Because, you know, nobody was who they were. Like if you're 35 years old, you're not the same probably guy or woman that you was at 16.
Right.
You understand? Because you've gotten more experience, you've learned more things, your priorities are different, you're in a different stage in life. So of course you're going to be at it, you know, it's going to be a different type of situation. But are you confident enough to be that 35-year-old person right now? You understand what I'm saying? Who you are. You see what I mean? And it's crazy that, you know, guys though, and just women don't really understand that type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
It's another thing too that I want to talk about is that there are some things in life that after it happens, things can never go back to the way that they were.
Right. That's true.
That's another thing with, like, you know, like I said, when you get to the crossroads and you either choose left or right, you know, up or down, right or, white or black, in or out, whatever, like you have to make a choice. And there are some choices that you can't go back. Like, for example, like the choice to, have sex raw and get a chick pregnant. Like she's pregnant now. There's no going back now. Yes, you could get an abortion, but still, that's a decision that was made that, you understand what I'm saying? Which will bring you to a new decision that you're going to have to make.
Right.
You understand? And then, once you decide to have the kid and the kid is here now, you understand? Or, you know, for example, I was watching this, there's a show I like to watch called Snowfall. And one of the guys in the show, like, they were having some beef with a rival drug gang or whatever. And the guy shot up this car, but he had like a Uzi. So he was just, cause he thought the car was just full of dudes. And he like shot up the whole car. And then when he stopped shooting, he heard a woman crying. And it turns out that he shot a baby girl. He shot like a 6-year-old little kid, bruh. Shot her and killed the kid. Right. Because they was driving them to somewhere. I mean, there was a group of guys in the car, but in the back, it was a woman and a child in the middle seat. And he looked, the dude that was shooting, he looked, and you just saw his whole countenance change.
Right.
And I know it's a movie, but what I'm saying is there are certain decisions that you make in life, knowingly or unknowingly, that once they've been made, you cannot go back.
Facts.
Because, for example, there's some decisions where it's like, well, I was making fun of Lucario for never wanting to leave New York, but if I wanted to come back to New York, I could do that.
Right.
You understand? If I wanted to get back into that lifestyle, I could do that if I really wanted to.
Right.
But if I mistakenly murder a child or something, or even commit murder in any capacity, that's done. Like that, there's no coming back. I can't bring the life back.
Right.
You feel me? So it's certain, and that's another scary part of life where it's like, yo, because the show, like watching the show, I was so like that fucking scene in the show was so crazy to me because I'm looking at this dude and like I said, his whole countenance changed. He was like, yo, I just murdered a baby, bro. Like I just murdered a kid.
Exactly.
Like my life is over. Like it's like, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny too, because if you watch the show, the kid is the daughter of the rival drug guy that they. Wow. So it's a whole. So if you watch Snowfall, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, there's some decisions in life, man, that once you make them, there's no coming back. So right. So sometimes there's a level of confidence that you have to move forward with certain decisions, because once you make the decision, you have no choice but to move forward.
Right.
You understand? No matter how overwhelming, no matter how difficult it is, you have no choice but to move forward, because there's some things that can't be reversed.
Right.
And there's no as far as I know, I ain't got no time machine. You got one?
Right. Exactly.
You feel me?
And also you could take it a step further, is that there's certain things that you learn, that certain information that you get, that once you get it, you can't go back.
You can't go back.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't, it's impossible.
Like knowing what I know now about game and shit.
Exactly. It's like, right, you can't go back.
I can't look at life the same way, bro. I just can't.
It's insane. Like it's certain things you start, and then you realize and recognize, and it's like, damn, I can't even. And this is why sometimes people want to remain ignorant.
Right.
Because once you know, it's like, it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's over. So you can go from that point forward, but you can't go back from that point because it's impossible. Like, it's like once you see it, it's over. Once you get recognize it, like, oh shit, it's like you can't go back to nothing. You understand what I'm saying? You can't go back to that shit. You see what I mean? It's crazy. So that's what it is, man. And again, all of that pertains to you when we talking about confidence and being yourself. That all becomes a part of you. That becomes a part of your experience.
Right.
That becomes a part of your awareness, your knowledge base, your fucking just
identity.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh shit, I there's certain things that I see and that I know that I experience. And there's certain things that once you know it, it's something that's so true and so real that it can't be changed. Meaning you can't learn something else that's going to make you unlearn that thing.
Right.
It's so damn real. You're like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what they mean when they talk about being woke. Like if you're really enlightened about certain things, you're just like, man. And the crazy part is that when you're really, really fucking enlightened, that's when a lot of the fear goes away with a lot of shit. Like when you're really, and you're constantly on that shit, because then you realize nothing means anything. Like it's meaningless anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, it's all meaningless. This shit don't mean nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And then once you get to that point where you, because it's one thing to hear that, but it's another thing to know it. And it's another thing to understand it and internalize it. So when you understand it and internalize it, and you're like, yo, this shit don't mean nothing. It's like, shit. Now it's like everything is just different now. You're like, wow, like I can't go back to that shit. I can't, like, you can't go back to not knowing that. You just can't. You understand? It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. Right. But then the funny part is that worldly things, the material world, brings you back into the bullshit. So what happens is, even though you know the shit is meaningless and bullshit, you start getting brought back into the meaningless and bullshit things, and you start to think it means something.
Right.
You be going back and forth, and this is why you start going crazy. You're like, shit.
Right.
Like, I know this shit ain't about shit, but I keep getting drawn into the shit that ain't about shit. Right? You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother fucking show. That's some other extra shit we could go into. It's
right, like the confidence to know when something is about something is when something ain't.
Right, exactly. Right. It's terrible.
Yo, but yeah, man, yeah. Confidence is everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is everything, because the reason why I like confidence is that, because some people who are religious will just use the word faith.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But here, the thing with confidence is you don't need to be religious, and you don't need to not be religious.
Right.
But you damn sure need confidence to actually get through this life shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's so necessary, especially if you're trying to really be somebody and do your thing. And, you know, like it's so very necessary. So, yeah, man, just wanted to talk about that real quick, man.
Right. So, guys, that's pretty much it, man. We got to head up out of here. We're actually going to do another show in 20 minutes
Right.
with Rashidi and Kaleem.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about different ways to build your credit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So we're going to do that soon. So make sure you guys check that out. Also, go make sure you guys go to patreon.com/The Confidence Show to check out The Confidence Show, all The Confidence Show episodes. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. We appreciate you guys. We out of here. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We gone.